Welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you how to set up an evergreen nurture sequence that works for you 24/7, even when you're working with clients or enjoying your downtime. No more scrambling to write last-minute emails. This works in between your scheduled broadcasts and ensures that you never ghost your email list. In the next few minutes, you'll learn how to set up a set it and forget it system that keeps you top of mind with your potential clients, delivers genuine value on autopilot, and steadily brings in new coaching signups without you having to lift a finger.
Okay, let's get into setting up your evergreen nurture sequence. So you can choose a day of the week if you'd like or not. If you choose a day of the week, then that means you always know you have an email going out on that day. You can schedule your broadcasts around that. And it's also going to be something that people then know when to anticipate that an email is coming on that day of the week. But you don't have to. You could also just set it so that they get the first email when they opt in or when they get tagged to get into the sequence, and then go every 7 days from then. So that's up to you. You can name your nurture sequence if you'd like. Again, this is going to go towards branding the sequence itself, like Mobility Monday or Healthy Habits or Wednesday Wellness Tips. You can create an email banner image. 500 pixels wide by 100 pixels tall is the perfect size for Kartra, and I'll show you mine, for connection and brand recognition. So the combination of choosing a day of the week, naming the sequence, and having an email banner creates something that your contacts could be looking forward to receiving each week from you. You can use all of your content pillars if you'd like. This is going to be a long-term evergreen nurture sequence, or you could specify and you could narrow down to what topic you are going to focus on in the evergreen sequence. I recommend that you keep the content short and sweet. This isn't like a full newsletter where you put in a whole bunch of content. You want to keep it short and sweet. You might add in short actionable tips, thought-provoking concepts. You could ask for their responses so that you start to open up a dialogue and build that connection. You want these emails to be value-packed, and you're going to use some subtle selling. This is the perfect opportunity to use your super signature. So to start out, you're going to write your emails. I like to start with at least 8, and I recommend you write these in a Google Doc. Don't write them in Kartra as you go. You want to create them in your Google Doc and be able to copy and paste into the Kartra sequence when we set that up. You might want to use AI to help brainstorm topic ideas based on your content pillars or the idea you have of the theme of your sequence, or you might pull from blog posts, social media posts, and existing training you've done. We want to keep in mind that each email needs to be evergreen content, meaning no matter when someone is reading the email, it's still relevant and applicable. In Kartra, when we go to set up the tag, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up a new sequence. We're going to set up a starting tag. In our sequence, we're going to set up a template email with the banner image, the greeting, and the super signature. And then from there, we can clone that template and customize. So first I want to show you in Canva. Here is my banner, 500 pixels wide by 100 pixels tall. And then you can put in whatever you'd like here. And then you're going to download it as a PNG file. Now, let's get into Kartra. And we're going to go into contacts, all contacts, and then tags. Here, we're going to create a new tag, so we'll do the blue button in the top right. I'm going to call this Start Tech Tip Tuesday Sequence. That way, I know exactly what this tag does, and then I can copy that and paste it into the description as well. For the category, I'm going to create a new category, and this is going to be called starting tags. So whenever I need a tag that's going to start someone into a sequence or subscribe them into a sequence, it's going to be in my starting tags. And then create. Next, I'm going to go into marketing and sequences. And here I'm going to create a new sequence. I'm going to call it the name of my evergreen nurture sequence. If you have a name for yours, you can put that here, or you could always put evergreen nurture sequence. But it's important for the public description that you use something here that you want your contacts to be able to see when they go to manage their subscriptions or to unsubscribe. So I'm going to put in Tech Tip Tuesdays and create. Now, inside of our sequence, the starting rule of what will drop someone into this sequence is going to be the tag. I'm going to select my category of starting tags, and I'm going to select Start Tech Tip Tuesday sequence tag. We're going to bring over a send email step and drop it onto the canvas. I'm going to name this one template. And we're going to use just the plain text. So now that we have our template here, the first thing we can do is click activate. That way we can see it. And let's click edit. Here are the things we want to do. So since mine is Tech Tip Tuesday, I am going to select just Tuesday. I'm going to deselect the other days of the week. If you haven't chosen a specific day of the week for your evergreen sequence, you don't have to do this step. You can also pick at any time of the day or a time when you'd like this to go out. I'm going to do mine in the morning between 7 and 8 a.m. And I'm going to set this to wait a number of days, and it's 1 day. This way, no matter when someone gets dropped into the sequence, it's going to wait a day and then hold until the very next Tuesday. So if someone opts in on a Tuesday, it is going to wait 1 day and then go to the next Tuesday. That way, I know that the emails are not just going to go out one right after the other. We have to have that delay. If you're not doing a specific day of the week, you can just set your delay to every 7 days if you want it to go out weekly. If you wanted it to go out bi-weekly, you could set it to 14 days. Okay, now we're going to edit our message. So we go down to email content and click the blue button to edit the message. Here, we want to go ahead and put in our subject line, put in here Tech Tip Tuesdays, and then I'm going to put a dash, and then here is where I would put what this specific email is about. But this is my template, so I'm going to leave it just like that. So preview text, you can add something there. Going to move the hello down a little bit. Click on the icon to add an image, and I am going to upload my banner. And select it. Perfect. Now I'm going to leave a couple of lines of space so that it's just easy for me to drop my cursor in here and paste in the content since this is my template. I'm going to move that up just one. Perfect. And then I'm going to add my signature, and then underneath that, this is the perfect place for you to drop your super signature. That way, inside of the actual content of this email, you don't have to be promoting anything overtly. You can just be giving value, asking for a response. You can be sharing a tip. You might be subtly promoting something. So if your tip is directly related to your program and you'd like to remind them that you go into more detail in the program, you can link over to it. But for the most part, these emails are not going to be directly promotional, which is why it's a perfect place for you to use your super signature in here. Here it is. So PS, whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways that I can help you grab my copy of my free, whatever my lure is, watch this training, join my program, or work with me privately. Now, we just want to make sure that we select all of our text and we make any adjustments to the font, the sizing, the coloring, so that every time you clone from this template, it's easy for you to work with. I'm going to change it to the font that I use and the sizing. This is something that's tricky inside of Kartra. Adjusting text always seems to not take the very first time I do it. So sometimes I do have to go back and I just want to double check that everything now is sized correctly. Okay, so I'm going to click on actions and save and exit. And now I have my template email. I'm going to put it off to the side. And now whenever I create a new email to add on to this evergreen sequence, because we started with 8 emails, but you can add on to that as you come up with great topics where you think this would make a great addition to my evergreen nurture sequence. You can come in and add it on. So I'm going to clone from my template, drag this over so that I can activate it and connect it. And this is going to be the first email in this sequence for me. I will click edit, then edit the message so I can adjust the subject line there and drop in my quick tip here. So I'm going to paste in my content. You can see that I do have to format the body of the email now. I'm just going to do that real quick. You can see that it didn't take that time. That did, and then I just need to size it down to match the rest. I believe I'm doing 14 here. Okay, and then I'm just going to tweak the spacing here. Okay, so you can see how that is going to save us so much time. You can write these and keep them in a Google Doc, and you're just going to copy the content and paste it in, and then do a little bit of tweaking, but you never have to start from scratch. And my super signature is already set up and done. So I can then click on actions and save and exit. Now I am going to also edit the communication name here from template to the topic name. This way I can tell which topic each email is referencing, so that if I ever want to move these around and organize them, I can do so easily. You can see this one is my evergreen nurture sequence email. Now, when I go to add on the next email, I'm going to just repeat the process. Clone from my template, drag it down here underneath. I'm going to activate it, edit it, rename the communication for the name of this email, and then edit message for the email content and customize it to drop it in. Once you have your 8 initial emails in here activated and connected, then you can start to use this evergreen nurture sequence. And the way that you start to use this is that you add the tag wherever you'd like to start people into this sequence. Meaning, if you'd like to, you can go into your contacts and select everyone, then click the 3 dots on the right, add tag, and you can add your start tag to all of your existing contacts. This will drop everyone in to your evergreen nurture sequence, and they'll all start out at your first email and then they'll move through. But going forward, you're not going to want to wait again to add people into the sequence. You're going to want to add them maybe at the end of a sequence that you have. So let's say that inside of my great lore sequence, when someone gets to the end of that sequence, I'd like to actually add them to my evergreen nurture sequence. I can come in here, and before they get unsubscribed, I'm going to go ahead and add a add tag step. So I'll drop that right here. I'm going to add the tag. So we select add tag, starting tag, start Tech Tip Tuesday, and create. Then I'm just going to connect that in. So now this means that whenever anyone opts in for my lure, so they fill out the form to get my lure, they're going to get these emails, and then they're going to get added to my Evergreen Nurture sequence. It's going to wait a day at least and then come out the next Tuesday. And so now this extends the amount of evergreen nurturing that is happening. This means that on Tuesdays, I know that at least for the next 8 Tuesdays, these new contacts are going to be getting emails from me in addition to any of the real-time broadcasts that I will be sending out. It's a perfect way to continue to nurture your contacts and bring them further into your world. And that is how you set up your Evergreen Nurture sequence. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Take care.